Summer vacation had ended, and high school had begun. I was incredibly excited to be reunited with my friends. But to my shock, I found that none of my beloved friends were in the same class as me. My first day felt dismal. The school seemed gloomy without my friends. During the middle of a lesson, my attention was caught by a classmate named Hanin. She was peculiar in some ways, her facial expressions, her behavior. The school day ended, and I went home. That evening, as I watched the news on television, a shocking report flashed on the screen. Breaking news, a young girl named Hanin was found murdered inside Kiyosaki High School. She had suffered severe beating and violence. A chill ran down my spine, and I hurried to tell my mother the horrifying news. Who was this girl, and what is the story behind this school? On the second day on my way to school, I was preoccupied with thoughts about my friend Hanin's murder in the classroom. Questions raced through my mind. Who killed her, and what did they want from her? When I arrived at school, during the middle of the class, all the friends were talking about the young woman's murder. But what caught my attention was my friend Kristala, who was talking about a story that happened 5 years ago about a young woman named Salma, who was also murdered, subjected to severe beating and violence. She also mentioned that this school used to be abandoned and had many terrifying stories. Fear started to creep inside me, and I began to feel scared. Our conversation was interrupted by the teacher, who told us that today we would come to school in the evening to participate in some scientific experiments and play football in the schoolyard. We all agreed and felt happy. I went home and told my parents, who allowed me to go to school in the evening. In the evening, at exactly 8 p.m., the bus came near my house. I took my things and left. We arrived at the school, and darkness filled the place. We entered the classroom, and the teacher and friends shared some scientific experiments. After finishing, we went to the yard to start the football game. In the middle of the game, I wanted to go to the bathroom with my friend, Chris. He went before me into the bathroom, and after 10 minutes, he didn't come out. He entered the bathroom and started calling out, and here was the shock. It didn't respond. Then he heard a voice from the second floor of the school. It was Chris's voice saying, "Come on, Ahmed, I'm here." He felt relieved and went up to the second floor, but he couldn't find him there either. Afterward, he heard a voice from the third floor saying, "Come on, Ahmed, I'm here." He shouted back, "What are you doing up there, you crazy?" He climbed to the third floor, trembling, fear creeping through his entire body as darkness enveloped the surroundings. Finally, he reached the third floor, specifically room number 5, between the seats, and here was the shock. I found a girl sitting between the seats, combing the hair of a blood-stained doll. My legs barely moved from the intense shivering and fear. The girl turned to me, and it was Hanin, my classmate who had died. In an eerily familiar tone, she said,
"Ahmed, I am here."
I started losing the sense of my body, feeling extreme dizziness as my vision blackened, and I fainted. I woke to hear voices around me, the teacher, the counselor, and Chris, all calling, "Ahmed, Ahmed." But I didn't want to open my eyes, terrified of seeing that creature again. Then I heard my mother's voice and knew I had made it home. I opened my eyes and was embraced by my mother. I began to scream and cry. Today, at 21, I still haven't forgotten that story. Periodically, I have nightmares about that girl whose story no one has ever solved.